Applause to the fights. Big night of boxing tonight. First, we had Chisora versus Parker. I picked Chisora to win. He came out, knocked Parker down with I believe it was an overhand right out the gate. I think it was nerves for Parker. And to me, it seemed like after that, it seemed kind of like Chisora didn't stick to his game plan, or he got hook happy. And that's the problem I've had with him before. It's like those hooks he throws, they have damage on them and they're coming with steam, but it's like you got to throw some straights every now and then to mix it up. He just goes hook happy. And Parker, started throwing the quick overhand right. So I think Parker won the fight. A lot of people were saying Chisora got robbed, but I don't think he got robbed. He did, I thought he made a good account for himself, but he's not able to get over that hump. And I wouldn't be upset with that decision. It went to 12 rounds. I was surprised to see Parker go down the first round. He'd only been knocked down before by Dillian White. Not even Joshua had knocked Parker down. And Parker said in an interview the hardest he had ever been hit was by Andy Ruiz, a guy that I thought beat him, but, he didn't get it. Some say because the fight was in New Zealand or something. But looked like Chisora and Parker are cool. I saw Chisora backstage giving out hamburgers and stuff giving hamburgers out to Parker and his team. They're all having hamburgers. They hug. He said something about a rematch. Maybe they'll fight again. But Chisora, Buddy McGirt, you got to mix in more than hooks, man. Sure, it lands, but you got to mix it up with some straights, some jabs, and Chisora can definitely punch. But on to the big one. Andy Ruiz versus Chris Arreola. Andy Ruiz's first fight back since his loss in the rematch to Anthony Joshua. Big fight. Ruiz comes out looking good, and gets caught in the second round. He gets knocked down. And it was kind of a balance shot, but it was still from the punch. And Arreola was catching him, and he was getting wobbled and off balance. And then I would say probably from the third or fourth round on, it was all Andy Ruiz. He was throwing looked like Anthony Joshua's favorite combo, the left right hook, kept landing all night for him. And he hit Chris Arreola with a shot like on his wing, and it made him turn around. I thought he was quitting. He said something about his shoulder or something. I thought, is he preparing his excuse? I don't know, because at one point Ruiz hit him with a shot to the head and he shook his arm. I'm like, how'd that hurt your arm? You got hit with a punch to the head. But anyway, what a fight. Applause. I got my money's worth. $49.95, I believe it was. Wow. I want to watch it again. Full of action. It went the whole distance. Chris Arreola, talking crazy after the fight, but he definitely gave a good account for himself. But it's like you could hear Andy Ruiz's punches. When Andy Ruiz would connect to Arreola, it would sound like a bass drum, like a loud thud. And even Lennox Lewis was talking about that. Oh, yeah, Lennox Lewis was at the fight. He had his jacket on, his suit jacket. And inside the suit jacket was a photo of him and Mike Tyson's promo picture from back in the days. So he said, maybe Mike will be here today, we'll negotiate. Then at the end, he said something like, well, good, he's not, or he knew better than to show up or something. He's just playing around. But looks like Lewis Tyson, too, is in the works. But, wow, that Ruiz Andy, that Ruiz Arreola fight was something else, pure action. It's like, I think what it is more than, I thought at first, wow, I thought Ruiz's chin was better than that. I think what it was the dramatic weight loss. He has to get acclimated to his new weight. He's 257, which is heavy, but it's light for him. So he has to get his legs up under him, find out how to fight at that weight. And, yeah, he gave a good account of himself. And I hope they have a rematch. What a night, man. Andy Ruiz's punches are so fast, it's like Chris Arreola was trying to counter him, but before he could, Andy Ruiz would punch him and be back before he could counter. So it's like he wanted to counter punch Andy Ruiz all night, but Andy was just too fast. It'd be whap, 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 and he's back, and Arreola was like, oh man, I was going to counter. And he wobbled Arreola at the end of the 7th round. I saw Areola's leg do a little dance back there, and man, Ruiz is fast, and he's got some power. He's going to be a problem for anybody, but he does get hit with an overhand right rather easily, and I picked him to always beat Deontay Wilder. But that's Deontay's best shot. Now I'm wondering, can he stand up to Deontay's overhand right? Because you gotta. It's like the fight I saw on the undercard. This guy kept putting his gloves up, and wherever he put his hands, the guy would hit him on the opposite side. So even with his guard up, he was getting hit. You got to know how to defend the overhand right, Andy. But great fight. Applause again. Got my money's worth. Want to see a rematch. What else is going on in the boxing world? You guys catch Gonzo versus Bosco on the undercard of the Jake Paul, Ben Askren fight. I didn't know they fought. I knew they had beef for years. Bosco was like a gangbanger, and Gonzo's a rapper from LA, and they had beef, and they settled it in the ring. You know, the skills were terrible, but at least they had the heart to get in the ring with the headgear. Bosco outweighed Gonzo by a lot. He's like 210 or something. Gonzo was like 150. But they were saying they couldn't fight. And Snoop Dogg put him in the ring. He said, well, if you don't allow him to fight, I'm not showing up. So, yeah, it was a huge night. And Snoop started something called Gloves Up, Guns Down, which I think is great. You know, get the gangbangers off the street. If they got a problem, don't handle it with guns, handle it with your fist. So you got to respect Snoop for that. So even though the fight was real amateurish between Bosco and Gonzo, at least they settled it with these like men. So props to them for that. And let me know what you guys thought of the fight. A lot of people I'm seeing online and Instagram think Chisora got robbed. I don't think he got robbed. I think he kind of let off the gas and got too hook happy. Let me know what you think of the Arreola Ruiz fight. A lot of the announcers thought that the fight was a lot closer, and I'm like, it wasn't that close. After Ruiz got knocked down, all Arreola did pretty much after that was just keep moving forward without throwing something. You don't get points for moving forward without throwing your hands. You have to throw your hands. If you're coming forward taking shots, you're not winning the fight. The guy throwing the shots is and landing them. So I saw it as a blowout too after the knockdown. I don't know which fight the announcers were watching. You know, I even did disagree with Lennox Lewis. I was like, what fight is he watching? I see why a lot of people say they watch fights without the sound because, you know, you can get a false sense of who's winning listening to the announcers. You know, some of them have favorites, not saying they did, but they just see it different there in person than we see it. So they go back and watch the fight, they'll see it was a blowout. Andy Ruiz won. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, and be fearless. Yay, yay.